Welcome back. Let's add some links to our navigation bar. Right now, we just have one big image with no real place to add a link. So what I'm going to do, and there's more than one way to do this, I'm going to add a link by drawing an AP div, an absolute position div, just over each of the places I want to link to. So if I click on this side of the design side, I go to Insert, and then I'm going to pick Layout. I should see about third down, Draw AP Div. If I click on that, I can get a little crop tool looking thing, and I'm just going to draw a div. I'm kind of mimicking the size of the box that I'm using here. Okay, and so the nice thing about this div, I don't have to fill it with anything, but it has an ID. So I'm going to change the ID here to Y for year in 1958. I'm also going to hit return or enter so that code gets updated. The reason I had to put a Y at the beginning of it is because I can't start it with a number. All right, and let's look in our code and see what's really going on here. So right here, I've created a div, and a div an AP div is different than a regular div in that it floats over the background, so it can be positioned anywhere in the background. If I click on this, I can see that this is going to be its position right here. And if I move it around, you can watch that change. Okay, so I'm not going to fill it with anything, and you could fill it with text or an image or color or whatever, but I'm going to use this ID to make that link work. Okay, so I'm going to go back to split screen here so you can see what's going on. I'm going to go back up to the top, double click here, and this, where the link is down here in the properties, make sure you're in HTML. I'm going to type here 1958 and then hit return, and you can see that it changes this link to a link on this page, 1958. So let's save all and try this. It won't work in the live view here, so I have to go out to an external browser to try it out. So we'll try it in Firefox and see how this works. So 1958, click, look at that. That's wonderful. So it's working for me. All right, next, I'm going to continue that process and work down the page. So clicking over here, don't worry that this is moved. It's fine, just fine. I'm going to draw an AP div over the top of this one. I am going to call it, I'm going to call this one year 1976. Oops, that'll be 1976, and hit enter. Remember to hit return or enter. Okay, and then I'll move down a little farther, find my next link, draw an AP div right here, change it to year 1980, hit return, move on down the page, and draw one more at 1984. Year 1984, and return. So now I can go back up to the top of my page, click this, come in here and type year 1976. Remember to hit enter here, otherwise it will not change the code. Year 1980, and one more here, year 1984. Okay, and we're going to do one more, save all, and just go out and check it in. This time we'll try it in Google Chrome. Make sure it works in all browsers. Okay, so here's 1985, 1958, 76, 80. And you can see why I left that little space at the top. I wanted it not to show up like this right at the very top of the page, but give me a little space, okay? And then 84. Now, I might get a cramp in my finger going back to the top of a long page like this. So we're going to put some navigation down here that's going to stay in the same spot that'll take us back to the top of the page. So let's try that. I'm just going to click in here, let's see, right here after this UL tag. This was where I want to add it. And then I'm just going to type. I'm going to type back to top, or top of page. How about that? Top of page. All right, we hit return. And let's see where that type ends up. So here it is right here. Oops. Top of page. And I want that to have, first of all, I want that to have a tag that I can deal with. So I'll just make it a paragraph, if it didn't already have a paragraph added to it. All right, and then I'm going to write a class rule for it. I'm going to use a class rule, and then I'm going to assign it to this paragraph. Okay, so first I'm going to write the rule, then I'm going to assign it. So I'm going to go right over to CSS styles. I'm going to make a new rule. I'm going to make sure that I have class selected from my selector type. And then I'm going to type dot top. Okay, and that's going to be the name of my class selector. And this I want to make Arial, about 12 points, color dark gray. Eventually it'll get a link, but we'll deal with it in a minute. I'm going to say no decoration. In the background color category, I want to choose this same color from here. I want to, let's update that and see what it looks like. Nothing, because I haven't applied the class to this, so I'm just doing this blind. This just thinks it's a P tag with no class. It has no class. Okay, never mind. In box category, I want to blindly make the top of this about, let's go 2 pixels. To the right of it, I want about 10 pixels. On the bottom 2, and on the left about 30. And that should do it for now. Oh no, one morely important thing is the position. So I'm going to go to position. I'm going to say I want this to be fixed, and from the bottom 3, and not pixels but percent, 3% from the bottom. So that'll keep it a little bit off the bottom of the screen. All right, let's say OK to that. Now I have created a class right here. You can tell it's a class selector because it starts with the period. But now I need to go down to that text. Well, I can actually just select it right here. And then in my properties panel, I can go to this class, and I should see top. And click on that. And let's hit live. And there's our top one. Okay, the only thing I need to do now is to make this a link that will link to something at the top of the page, right? And what's at the top of the page? This container, this div tag called container. So there's already an ID up there. If I select this type and type my hashtag in container, hit enter, it should take me back to the top of the page. So we're going to do this one more time, a save all, and then we'll go out and check it out in Firefox. Okay, let me shrink this up a little bit. Okay, so there it is, floating in the same place. I would change the, my link so it didn't have this blue with the underline. But for now, this was just I'm just going to show you how this works. I will click back to top of page, and it will take me back to the top of page. If I roll down, it'll take me back to the top of the page. So there you have it. You could also make this, if you wanted your navigation to stick to the top of the page, you could do the same thing by telling it to just have a fixed position and leave it at the top of the page. So, there you go. See you next time.